working husband doesn't help me with our baby at all. So one day I called 911 because I thought I saw my baby dying, but the paramedic said I was just hallucinating. The paramedics had just arrived, and I was on the couch holding my son Timo and crying that he needed urgent help. I had called because Timo had stopped breathing. I was sure of it. His chest wasn't moving. His lips were turning blue. I was watching him die in my arms, and I couldn't make my hands work fast enough to do anything about it. The paramedic, Joan, knelt down and gently turned my arms so she could look at him. Ma'am, your son is breathing. He's just sleeping. No, he stopped. I watched him stop. Then she asked something weird. When was the last time you slept? The question made me cry harder. I can't sleep. He needs me. When did you last eat? I don't know. When did you last sit down for more than 5 minutes? I sat down to call you. Something in her face shifted. She glanced at the staircase. Is anyone else home? My husband Keithan is upstairs. He didn't come down when you called for an ambulance. He has to work in the morning. He sleeps in the guest room since the baby came. How long has he been sleeping in the guest room? 6 weeks, since we brought Timo home. Her partner came in with the equipment, and Joan waved him off. She asked whether my husband had ever fed Timo, and I started to explain about my pumping schedule, how it stressed Keithan out, how he would hold the baby while I made the bottle so I could hand the bottle to him so he could hand the baby back. I heard the words coming out of my own mouth, and I couldn't stop them. They had sounded reasonable when Keithan had said them. Joan's mouth tightened. Walk me through your last 24 hours. I listed it. Midnight, 1:30, 3, 4:15, 6. I tried to nap when Timo napped, but the dog needed out, and Keithan was on a call. Keithan works from home? Yes. He was here all day while you were doing this alone? He had meetings. When was the last time he held Timo for longer than 10 minutes? I had to think a long time. Sunday. His mom came over and asked for a picture. Joan stopped writing. Ma'am, you said you saw your son turn blue. Do you understand what that means? That something was wrong with my baby? Something is wrong with you. Your eyes are seeing things that aren't happening because your brain is shutting down. People who don't sleep for 6 weeks start hallucinating. It's a medical emergency. I'm fine. I just need to put Timo back upstairs. I need you to go to the hospital, and so does your husband. Joan walked to the bottom of the stairs and called him down. He came in pajama pants, irritated about the noise, irritated about the strangers, asking if the baby was okay. When Joan told him I had been trying to wake him for an hour, he said he was a heavy sleeper, and I knew that. When she told him I had called 911 from the same house he was sleeping in, he said, if it was a real emergency, she would have woken me up. That was the line that did something to Joan's face. Sir, your wife thinks she watched her son die tonight. He didn't. She's hallucinating from sleep deprivation. She needs to be evaluated. She needs to not be the only adult caring for this baby. I have work tomorrow. Take the day off. I can't just take a day off because she's tired. We both signed up for this. She signed up for it. You signed up to watch. I started to defend him. He has a presentation Friday. Stop. Joan looked at me. Who has helped you in the last 6 weeks? Keithan's mom comes over. To do what? She holds Timo and tells me I'm doing the swaddle wrong. Then she leaves the dishes in the sink and tells Keithan I look tired. Anyone else? My mom calls every day, but she's 2 hours away. Does she know how bad this is? I tell her I'm fine. Keithan interrupted, told Joan to stop meddling and leave. Joan stood her ground. Your wife is going to the ER. That's when the color drained from his face. He pushed her until she was out the door and shut it in her face, even as she was screaming at him. Then he turned to me and the baby. You made a mistake calling 911. I sat there on the couch holding Timo, listening to him lock the deadbolt. My hands were shaking, but not from fear. Something Joan said was stuck in my head like a splinter. She signed up for it. You signed up to watch. Keithan came back into the living room and told me to go to bed, that we'd talk in the morning, like he always says. I said, I need to call my mom. He said, at 2 in the morning? You'll scare her for nothing. That word, nothing. I went to the bathroom and sat on the floor with my back against the tub. I pulled out my phone and opened my text thread with my mom Anja. There were dozens of messages from her. How's my grandson today? Did Timo sleep better last night? Send me a picture when you get a chance. Are you eating enough? And every single one of my replies a lie. Good. Timo is perfect. He slept great. We're doing well. Everything's fine, Mom. I started typing. Mom, I'm not okay. I called 911 tonight because I thought Timo stopped breathing, but he didn't. And the paramedic said I'm hallucinating, and Keithan won't help me, and I haven't slept in 6 weeks, and I'm scared. I read it twice, then I deleted the whole thing. I started again. Mom, something happened tonight, and I need to talk to you. Deleted it. One more time. I need help. 3 words. I stared at them for a long time. Then I deleted them too, because Keithan's voice was louder than mine in my own head. You'll scare her for nothing. And I thought maybe he was right. Maybe I was making this bigger than it was. Maybe every new mom went through this, and I was just the weak one who couldn't handle it. I put the phone on the floor, pulled my knees up to my chest, and sat there until my legs went numb. Then I lay down on the bed without pulling the covers back and waited for morning. I didn't sleep. I just waited. Keithan came down at 7:30, showered, in a clean button-down like he was going into an actual office instead of the spare bedroom 10 steps from where his son slept. He walked to the counter, made himself coffee, did not make me one. He sat at the dining table, opened his laptop, and started his day like nothing had happened. Like a paramedic hadn't been in our house 8 hours ago, telling him his wife was having a medical emergency. Like he hadn't pushed that paramedic out the front door. He did not ask about last night. He did not ask how Timo was. Timo started crying upstairs where I had just put him down. I waited. Keithan didn't look up. I walked past him on the way to the stairs and glanced at his screen. He wasn't working. He wasn't in a meeting. He was scrolling a sports forum while his son screamed and his wife walked past him like a ghost. I went upstairs, picked up Timo, brought him back down. Keithan drank his coffee. Around noon, the front door just opened. Athena, my mother-in-law, walked in carrying her purse and a big smile. Keithan texted me this morning that something happened. She didn't ask if she could hold him. She took Timo right out of my arms while I was mid-feed and bounced him for the camera. 4 photos, adjusting the angle. You called an ambulance? For what? I tried to explain. She talked over me. New mothers panic. It's normal. When Keithan was a baby, I did everything myself and I never once called 911. She said it like a medal. Then Timo got fussy and she handed him back. He's fussy, she said, like it was his fault and not hers for pulling him off mid-feed. She made herself tea, left the cup in the sink with last night's dishes. Then she sat across from me with that practiced caring face. Keithan told me you've been very emotional lately. Have you thought about talking to someone? There's no shame in it. Something clicked. Keithan had been talking to his mother about me for weeks, not asking for help, building a story about me. She's emotional. She's anxious. She's not well. So when last night happened, Athena would already have the explanation ready. Not her husband doesn't help, but she's just emotional. I almost agreed because that's what I always did. I smoothed things over. Then my phone rang. My mom. I just got a call from a paramedic named Joan. She tracked me down through your emergency contacts. She told me everything. My whole body went still. Why didn't you tell me? My mom's voice cracked. I couldn't speak. I just sat there with Timo against my chest and the phone pressed to my ear, and I could feel Athena watching me from the doorway. For the first time in 6 weeks, I didn't care what she would tell Keithan. My mom knew. I didn't didn't have to say I'm fine anymore. Anya said she was getting in the car. 2 hours. After I hung up, Athena asked who that was. When I said my mom, something flickered across her face. Not concern, calculation. She went straight upstairs to Keithan's office and closed the door. They were getting their story straight, but Joan had already told Anya the truth, and my mom doesn't forget. While I waited, I did something I hadn't done in 6 weeks. I put Timo in the swing. He fussed for 10 seconds, then went quiet. I sat